Let's talk about some of the ways companies can gatekeep expertise from their employees. My name is Mariana. I'm a first-generation professional and certified coach helping other first-gen pros and 21st century leaders navigate complex career environments. If you're a corporate professional who was promised professional development in your role that never materialized, your company might be gatekeeping expertise. I spent over 20 years leading professional development at some of the world's largest companies. In my experience, I've seen a couple of different ways that companies can gatekeep building expertise from their employees. One company I worked for, the number one employee complaint was that there were virtually no opportunities for vertical advancement, aka promotions. And one of the reasons for this was that legacy employees who sat closer to the top of the hierarchical pyramid had already picked out their successor years before, sometimes decades before. And in turn, their chosen successor had already chosen who would backfill their role. There's a lot of reasons why people may do this, but it almost always has some tie to bias, affinity bias, prestige bias, etc. When the upper levels of the succession pipeline already are stacked, there's little to no chance of disrupting that chain, which eventually leaves little to no room for upward advancement of the more junior levels. When you're a first-generation professional, it becomes even more critical to form alliances and relationships where you can be mentored by people who are doing the thing you want to do. And in companies where there are a lot of legacy employees, i.e. employees that have been there for decades. And this can be disheartening because even if you receive mentoring in organizations where this stacked pipeline exists, the implied understanding is that at some point there will be a hard ceiling and there will be no sponsorship by which to breach it. And this can create an unfortunate go-to-grow dynamic where employees feel like they actually have to leave the company, even if they're very happy there, to grow somewhere else in the hopes of returning again one day. Now, the other more common way that companies tend to gatekeep expertise from their employees is by denying meaningful professional development opportunities, either in or out of the office. One of the things organizations tell top talent that they're interested in attracting is that they will make an intentional effort to invest in your professional development through trainings, coaching, mentoring, etc. The reality is organizational learning and development teams are almost always under-resourced and under-supported from senior leadership from a priority standpoint. Because developmental time does not have an exclusive direct impact to the organization's bottom line profits. At several companies where I led the learning and development team, there would be employees that would say, I was so looking forward to taking advantage of your curriculum, but my boss says it's going to take too much time away from my productivity. Comment if you've heard that before. The problem with this for organizations and managers is that the unspoken message received is that my development is not a priority, only my productivity is. Now, some companies actually gatekeep expertise from employees intentionally because the thinking is, well, if we invest in their development, they will go somewhere else to earn more money and we'll lose the talent. We know this thinking is misguided because top talent knows their value and they will leave in a year or two if they sense that their professional development is not being taken seriously. If you can relate to this, meet me back here for part 2 of this conversation and I'll show you 3 ways that you can ensure you receive professional development even if your employer is reluctant to provide it.